Hello YouTube, welcome back to the Web Gear Review. I am your host, the Web Gear Guy, and today I'd like to take a look at the second pattern M1910 covers that were used during World War II. Now, the nomenclature on these here covers that you're looking at, these are two second patterns. The nomenclature did not change. It stayed as cover, canteen, dismounted M1910. Also, the stock number on these two types, second type cover, did not change either. The stock number is still 74-C-300. Now, they decided sometime in 1941 to make it easier to get the canteen cup in and out of the cover. Okay? The ones from World War I and the first pattern was pretty hard to get the canteen cup in and get the canteen cup out. So what they decided to do was to change the design, and that would make it easier to get the canteen cup in and easier to get the canteen cup out. And there was also a second purpose for the change to the second pattern, was to move this seam from the back of the canteen cover over here to the side. Because when they laid this out on the big bolts of material and then they cut them out or stamped them out, whichever one they did, they were able to save material by moving the seam over to here instead of in the middle somehow, according to what I read. Okay, so that was the two purposes of it. Anyway, this change for these second patterns right here that you're looking at was put in place by Q period, M period, C period, tentative specification, J dot, Q dot, D dot, number 1. Therefore, sometime during 1941, these newly designed canteen covers that you're looking at right here were made a little bigger so it is easier to get the canteen cup in and the canteen cup out. Now, the way I understand it is this second pattern type of covers were produced from 1941 to 1942. The other big thing to note is that at that time there was a shortage of precious metals like copper, which you need to make brass. So at that time, what they began to do was they began, just like they did in the last part of 41 and 42, on the first pattern, they began to put metal M1910 hangers. And both of these have a metal 1910 type of hanger. But they continued to use the brass ones. So therefore, you can't necessarily use that for dating a second pattern cover because they were finishing up using all of the brass hardware they had left over. Okay? But anyway, let's see here. So you can find these second pattern covers with a brass M1910 hanger, and you can find them with the metal hangers. These were produced from heavy canvas or cotton duck that had been dyed to a number 3, which was a khaki shade. You can really see that number 3 shade right there where it ain't faded, okay? And the inside covers, once again, was still lined with a blue-green wool scraps for insulation. I got 2 of them here to show you. Okay, the first one here is a Baker lock. A Baker Lockwood manufactured in M1941. And there, I hope you can see that. Now, there's a lot of people that say the M41 covers are pretty rare, but out of all, and some of them are, but out of all of the rare M1941 type covers here, second pattern, this Lockwood, Baker Lockwood, is the most, there's more of these out there than seem to be any of the others, okay? And they were still using the LED fasteners which they started in back in 1917. And then this second one is made by A.J. Shoe, and it is it's dated 1942. Now, it's really hard to see because I can barely see it, but there's one thing I also wanted to note about another change that they changed here in the second pattern. The first pattern, they was doing the stamping on the inside of the tab right here, okay? And then they started stamping them on the back side. But the way I understand it, some of the manufacturers continued to stamp on the inside. Now this here, I can barely see it myself, but you can see some of the markings. But I did make out 1942 for sure. But anyway, and then this one right here has stamped on, let's see here. This one here has a name stamped or written with a marker, but it's John Paul League. And so anyway, thanks for watching the Web Gear Review.